Hi Flosstube, welcome back. I'm Erin, 2 Martini Stitcher here on Flosstube and on Instagram, and this is my channel about cross stitch. Those of you who are regulars and returning subscribers, thank you for coming back for another little weekly stitchy update. Those of you who are regular will notice that the background looks a little different and I'm a day late. I am back in front of the murder wall today, and it is Monday, June 22nd. So, yeah, yesterday, Father's Day was Father's Day. Yesterday was Father's Day. Yes, it was. And we just had a really busy, fun day celebrating my husband and talking to our dads on the phone, and the day just really got away from me. We just were really celebrating all day, and I did not get around to filming. So today it is, and I'm squeezing it in. I brought all my stuff down here, and we're squeezing it in kind of in between dance classes and all the other stuff we have going on. So I feel like I don't have a whole lot to show and talk about this week, but we're going to kind of zip through things. Last week, I felt like went really fast. I don't know what happened to the week. The kids are all finally totally done with school. They are all completely finished with school, so that's exciting. All the netbooks are turned in, all the finals are done, and the oldest has started her summer job. Today was the first day. She had training all last week. She's a day camp counselor this summer through with the YMCA. And yeah, so the kids are just enjoying summer, and I love it because everything just feels a little more laid back. There's still dance going on. The girls are still, 2 older girls are working, but it's summer. It's summertime, so that's always good. And I think that's why last week felt really fast. Also because we kind of got out of the house a little bit more, you will notice. Managed to get in. All of us girls went and got our hair cut and colored up on Friday. Because it's a little earlier today. No cocktail. I'm getting this in before I need to make dinner and dance classes start. However, I am having some homemade cold brew. We've started making our own cold brew in the house. So if I seem a little ramped up today, the girls have really gotten into cold brew, and we're buying like pre-made cold brew through our milk delivery, but they were going through it and I was like, I'm pretty sure we can make this a whole lot cheaper. I used to work for Starbucks. I was a barista at Starbucks for quite a few years, and I can make some cold brew at home. So homemade cold brew is the beverage of the afternoon. All right. I read through all the comments, and I don't think there was really any Q&A. So I think that we'll just jump right into WIPs. I've got all kinds of fun stuff to show that I worked on last week. I have plans. I have a finish. There, of course, is some stash acquisition. So we'll just jump right into what I worked on. And the first thing, of course, I'm going to show you guys is the Harry Potter book covers. I am at 4. Ooh, I do have an announcement. What was I thinking? Velo Stitchers are a team that is raising money for the Cleveland Clinic to raise money for cancer research. I'm stitching 100 hours on Harry Potter book covers. I've cracked 30-hour mark. Let me look. I can tell you. I have done 32.5 hours so far, which is great. It's not really on pace to get me 100 hours before Velo Sano weekend. If you're not sure what Velo Sano is, it's a fundraiser for the Cleveland Clinic. I will link all the information below. It's typically a 100-mile bike race. They, of course, had to go virtual this year. And so a bunch of us stitchers got together and formed a team, and we're stitching 100 hours on one project. So if you want to like jump in and help us raise some money to, as we say, FFO cancer, that would be awesome. If you want to pledge my stitching or someone else on the team, the page to do that with all the information about the event is below. So Velosano weekend is coming up in July, and we are doing some fun fundraising events leading up to it. One of them is this week and really snuck up on us. So we had done on the 13th, we had done a Stitchy meetup. So it's myself, Alicia is on Instagram as Resist Stitch. She's kind of the captain of the team. Myself, Michelle Garrett of Bendy Stitchy, and McKenna. You guys know her as Stitching in Sequins, and also of 1884 Stitchery. We're kind of the team that is spearheading it. We had a fun Stitchy meetup on the 13th. And you could make a small donation and come stitch with us on Zoom. We had fun door prizes. It was really great to get to know some other stitchers in the community. Really fun. And we're doing it again. Yay! So, of course, we love a theme. So Merry 25. We did Dark 13. We're going to do Merry 25 virtual Stitchy meetup this Thursday. Can you believe it? The 25th is this Thursday. So the event is this Thursday, 5 p.m. Pacific time. So calculate what that is for your time. We're going to be doing it at 5 p.m. Pacific. So it'll be in the evening after dinner hours for most of the US. I will put the link to sign up below. So you can go to that link to sign up. We're keeping it pretty small. We're only taking 20 people. All the instructions on how to get into the event are on that link. So that link is below if you want to come stitch with us on Thursday. That'll be really fun. I don't know what I'm pulling out yet, but something fun. Hang on just a minute. Okay, I'm back. Husband had a little break in between meetings and wandered downstairs, and I had not informed the family that I was going to be filming. It's always a little weird when you're like talking to a camera and other people are wandering around in the room next door. Anyhow, where were we? Stitchy meetup, Merry 25. I don't know what project I'm going to be stitching on. You can bring your Merry 25 stitching or whatever other stitching you want, but it'll be fun. We're going to have more door prizes, and it was a great time last time, very laid back, and hope you can join us. So check out the link below if you want to come stitch with us on Thursday for Merry 25. Okay, see, I knew I had something to talk about other than just jumping into WIPs. So now I'll show you Harry Potter book covers. I won't be working on this on Thursday, but I better be working on it a lot because I have some time to make up. It's coming along really well though. Here we go. Here's the progress. Look, Harry has a face. At one point last week, there was just like strings coming out of his eyes and it was looking really, really weird. So yeah, so it's looking good. I do need to buckle down and get working on this. I work on it almost every night. I think I only missed like one night last week, but also last night we were playing games until late. So, but there it is. He's looking good. And I am, with this, I am right at 30% complete for the entire pattern. So I didn't bring over the cover sheet, but if you guys have been here at all recently, you know what this looks like. And then we're getting into like his shirt. Gonna be fun. Gonna be fun stuff coming up. So we'll see where this gets to next week and how much more time I can get into it, but I have some time to make up if I'm gonna try to hit 100 hours by Velosano weekend. I better get moving. So there it is, Harry Potter. And look, I found my time turner. It had gone missing for a while and I found it. So I was so happy to get my time turner back onto this piece. So that was from Abby Topknot. This was from No More Lost Needles on Facebook. And it's Hogwarts. It's just the castle. So there we go. This is on 18 count, easy count Aida. And I'm stitching it with 2 strands full cross. So all the called for DMC. This is the supersized max color version of Harry Potter book covers by Fox and Teacup Designs. So there we go. So there's that. I did get some, thank you so much to everyone who made really lovely supportive comments about my feelings about J.K. Rowling's recent statements, and for the people who gave me some great ideas on how to not separate her from her art, but minimize her impact on the piece. So I have some good ideas, and we'll see what I end up doing with her name when I get down to the bottom. But someone had suggested like kind of leaving it off, but then just putting it in backstitch small at the bottom. So it's not as noticeable, and I really like that idea. So I might go that route. But I'm excited to be getting good progress. I kind of miss Farewell to Anger, guys, though. I'm not, every time I open Pattern Keeper and I see that on there, in there as well, I'm like, oh, I'm loving getting really great progress on Harry Potter book covers, but I'll be really happy to get back to Farewell to Anger. I'm putting that back in the rotation after Felosana weekend. So, all right, so what else did I work on? Let me grab my bag of whips, bag of projects. I know that last week, I think I worked on this some more after I recorded last week, was Love My Stitching. I think I did. I don't think I did a lot more, but I think I did a little more, so I'll show it to you guys again. There it is. This is my hands-on design, stitched on 14 count white Aida. I don't think that has a whole lot more progress in it, but just in case, there we go. Because I know I showed you the spool. Yeah, I don't think I put much more into that. This will get some attention, more attention when Welcome is finished. So I'll show you guys that, because I did keep putting a length of floss a day into it. And I'm so close. Look how close I am to a finish on that, guys. Oh, I just have the E. Is the N all done? It is. I just need the E in the period. So that should be a finish this week. I should measure this out and get a frame ordered so I can get it framed up. So that's almost done. And then when it is, then I'll move my daily piece to Love My Stitching. I'll link below. I always put all the information on all the WIPs in the description box. And I will link to this pattern to the Etsy designer, because I don't have a cover sheet for it, and I always forget the name of the Etsy designer. It's one of those ones that doesn't put their information on the pattern. So I will link it below in case you're interested in picking up that. So that's, everything is fine. It's amazing what like just 1 or 2 lengths of thread a day will do for a project. It will get it done eventually. Okay, so let's see, what's next? I did do all the enchanted stitching challenges last week for Monsters Inc. week 3. And 2 of them I managed to work into a Mania start project. Gotta find it. It was a Mania start project that I thought, it wasn't really on my short list. It was kind of on my sort of short list of things that could maybe get finished. And that was Star Spangled Spectacular by Brenda Gervais with Thy Needle and Thread. So I started this in Mania. I thought maybe I could get it finished before July, but I had a feeling there was a lot more stitching in it than what I really thought. And after using it for 2 tasks, I was right. This isn't going to get done. I am stitching this as it's called for 1/1 on 28 count. And there's just a lot more stitches. I mean, this looks like a tiny little thing. It is a tiny little thing, but it's a lot of stitching. So I used this for 2 tasks. So this got a little over 500 stitches, and this is where I got to. So this is on a 28 count bone lugana that I tea coffee dyed to darken up a little bit. I'm stitching it with mostly the called for colors, 1/1. So I had done the pole and the flag, and that was it after Mania. So I put in the vine, the bird, started the house, and the little planter on top of the house. And I'll get in there close. I had someone email me asking about stitching 1/1 and any like tips or tricks, because they were a little scared or intimidated to try stitching 1/1. I don't know that I have any real wisdom or advice. I just stitch the way I normally would, honestly. I did find that I can't stitch sewing method. I stitch in hand. I tend to stitch with the sewing method, and I can't seem to do that over one because the stitches just look a little messy. And the one thing you do kind of have to watch out for is stitching 1/1 on your bottom leg, depending on how you stitch. I stitch bottom left to top right, my bottom leg, and then bottom right to top left for my top leg. And stitching that way, you can have that bottom leg kind of slip underneath the thread of the fabric, the weave of the fabric. So you can't pull too tight. And I think that maybe that's why in the sewing method, the stitches looked weird, but there we go. It's really fun. The 1/1 seems maybe a little unnecessary, but the stitches are really cute. It's adorable. And as I said, I'm stitching this with mostly called for color. I subbed a couple things. I subbed, it calls for General Arts Cidermill Brown, and I subbed out Classic Color Wagon Wheel. I'm going to assume just because I didn't have it. And same for, it calls for Classic Color Works Eggshell, and I'm using Weeks Dye Works Whitewash. But other than that, it's all called for. It's so cute. It's so cute, but it would take some, yeah, this isn't going to be done. This isn't going to be done by the 4th of July. I'll still work. I'll keep working on it, but I think that unless it fits a task really well, I will probably favor some of my other Mania starts that are close to a finish before picking this one back up. That's really fun. Cute project. So I use that for 2 tasks. And I know one of them is like Roz is always watching, and Roz is always watching, and so you wanted to stitch on something that you had to be careful. You had to watch real closely because you didn't want a frog, and I do not want a frog 1/1. But then the other one, you had to something about Boo, and you had to work on a project that started with B or something else, I think. And so Brenda Gervais. Brenda Gervais. So I thought, maybe if I do it for 2 tasks, I'll get it really close to a finish. There's a lot of stitches in that thing, let me tell you. All right. Then on Wednesday, so I worked on that on Tuesday. And then on Wednesday, I had a new start. And I know I said I wasn't going to start anything in June. I told myself I had just finished Mania. I wasn't going to start anything in June. And I actually had 2 new starts this week, but they're for good reasons. And when there's a really good reason to start something, you should start something. So last Wednesday was Carla Rolodex Stitch's birthday, and she was doing a birthday sal, the Rolodex B-Day sal. And she just said, work on something that kind of reminds you of her. Maybe it's like snarky or nerdy or however it reminded you of her. And it seemed like the perfect reason to start Personal is Political. I know I showed you guys this last week in haul, and I said, I might start this week. Yep. As soon as I saw the very next day, on Monday, she posted up about her birthday sal, I was like, yep, that's getting started. So I started Personal is Political by Bendy Stitchy. I am stitching this on 32 count in the pink linen by R&R, because hers calls for a pink. And I am using, also in true Carla style, almost none of the call for colors. I'll show you where I got to. This is where I got to on that. And I had to move this needle minder. It was on Harry Potter, but it had to go to this piece, I think. Love that. That's from Space Cat Crafting on Etsy. She might still have some because I think they were kind of new for Pride Month. So there's my start. I am loving this border. This border is super fun to stitch. You can see it's called for like this dark brown, but I just love like gray and pink together. So I picked DMC 645, this kind of grayish, dark grayish for the brown. And then the words are supposed to be in Classic Colorworks Almond Latte, but I wanted them to stand out a little bit more. So I'm using Eucalyptus, which is also called for in the chart. So when I'm done stitching this, oh, and then this pink was called for to be either Color and Cotton Brass, which we had the discussion about. My brass showed up and was not the color that it was when Michelle designed and stitched this, or 3779 DMC, which is more of like, it's called Rosewood Ultra Very Light is the DMC number. And it was more of a corally, and I think my fabric is more pinky rose maybe than hers was. And so I wanted something that was more pink. So I went with Color and Cotton Rhubarb. So I went with Color and Cotton Rhubarb. So here are my threads. Here's what I've chosen for this. So I have DMC 645, Color and Cotton Grizzly is going to be kind of the lighter grays, Eucalyptus, which was called for, Color and Cotton Eucalyptus, Color and Cotton Bronze, Gentle Art Daisy, and Color and Cotton Rhubarb. So there you go. That's what I'm using for Personalist Political, and it's going to get a little more work this week for another enchanting stitching task. And I'm excited because I think this is going to be a quick stitch, and I'm loving this border. It's really fun to stitch. So that's going to be a fun one. I would really like to maybe get that done this month. I feel like maybe I could. I say that it's already the 22nd. Where has June gone? I just don't even know. But it'd be great to get that done for Pride Month. All right, then on Thursday, and I managed to get this to fit a task too. Thursday was the 18th, and on the 18th, I work on Stars Bright by Bendy Stitchy. I started this on my anniversary, which is on the 18th. So I work on it, pull it out, and work on it a little bit on the 18th of every month. And I'll show you where I got to on that. I am stitching this on a 30, is it 32 or 36? I feel like it's 36. So I think I'm using one strand. Yep, 36 hand dyed by Stephanie Frozen Fractal. And I am using one strand of all called for. I made a couple substitutions. I substituted a couple weeks dye works for comparable Classic Colorworks, but other than that, it's all the same. So this is where I got to. Oh, and that fabric's showing great. It is showing really great. So I already had this frame done, and I filled in the granny square, and then I framed out this one and that one. And that's what I got to on Thursday, and used it for a task for something romantic, because Mike and Celia have a romantic dinner, so you had to stitch on something cutesy or romantic. And since this is my anniversary stitch, it's romantic. So that's where I got to on Stars Bright. This is just this is really fun. I love seeing it grow just a little bit by bit. Every month. It's going to take a while to finish, but that's okay. I just like pulling it out once a month and stitching it for me and my husband. All right. Friday, I had another new start. Friday was Juneteenth, and I know I had told you guys I was going to start this, and I did, and I love it. So on Friday for Juneteenth, I started Bendy Stitchy, A Stitch for Sweet Freedom. It was a Bendy Stitchy kind of week, I guess. And I am stitching this with all called for, mostly called for. called for-ish. Called for-ish. I'm stitching this on a 32 count vintage gray, I think. Yes, 32 count vintage gray by R&R. And this is where I got to. Yay. I say called for-ish. This is one of the colors that's different. It calls for antique white, I think. Antique lace. It calls for Classic Colorworks antique lace, and I'm using Color and Carton cardamom. And as I was stitching this, you can see it. I was like, oh, I'm stitching the exact same color as the linen. That's okay, because guess what? It's supposed to be probably the linen in the hoop. So it's going to look great once I get that yellow in there. There's pretty gold. There we go. So, but I wanted to bop over here and start on the girl. I thought I might get her whole face done. Oh, I didn't, but I got a really good start on her. She needs her back stitching done, but there we go. And I did do these spools the same way with the satin stitch over top. You can see, like, I did the spool on Love My Stitching, and that was as directed by Beth Twist on Whip It Good. She suggests doing the cross stitches and then going over it in satin stitches, and I just think it looks awesome. I'm going to do every single spool on every single stitching piece I have that way, because I just think it looks so great. It totally looks like thread on a spool. So there's my start on a Stitch for Sweet Freedom. I love it. Love it, love it. I think it's going to look great. I can't wait to get to her fun dress too. So, and here's my threads. Let me see if I have written down what substitutions I made. I think I just made a couple. Yeah, instead of Weeks Dye Works Sky, I subbed in Blue Jay, the cardamom for antique lace, uniform blue, Gentle Arch uniform blue. I'm sure I'm not the only one who cannot find that anywhere. I'm going to use Color and Cotton Battleship. That is, I need to go order some more. That's a fantastic color. And then instead of Weeks Dye Works Whiskey, I'm going to use Color and Cotton Buttercup. So just using what I had on hand and where I could. And there's some DMC that's called for, so that's great too. Love that. Love that color palette. And I put it in my pretty, she's got a pretty flower in her hair. So pretty flower bag for a really pretty stitch. So that was my other new start. And then the last WIP I worked on was Alphabet Soup. Oh, and I also used this for a task. Wow, guys, maybe I need more of my cold brew coffee. I used this for a task in Enchanted Stitching 2, Meow Block from Hands On Design. And this is also my M for Alphabet Soup in Semi-Stained Stitchers. So that I'm using this for Alphabet Soup. And then we had a task to work on something that had been in timeout or exile. And this just isn't in my active WIP list. It's not on my WIP Go board. It's just not, can't even tell you the last time I worked on this, actually. And so because it's been so long, I will put a picture of where it was when I pulled it out right here. So you guys can see where it was. I am stitching this on a 32, is it 32 count? 28 count flax, linen and flax, and I'm using all the called for colors for this. You can see fun, bright, what a mess, huh? And here is where I got to. I only did one task, 250 stitches, but I'm going to use it again this week and get some more work done on it. And this is where I got to. So you can see I added some of the little fish bones, extended this line out a little bit, worked on this kitty filled in the mouse ears. This is super cute. This is really cute stitch. So that's where I got to on the Meow block. This is a fun project. It just isn't on my like radar to finish urgently. So it doesn't come out to play all that often. Oh well, it'll get done eventually, right? That's what I say about all of them. It'll get done eventually. Clearly have turned into a process stitcher. But I did have a finish this week. In and amongst all the other things, this one was just calling to me. Stitch or Die. Stitch or Die was just calling to me to finish her up. This was a Mania start. I started this on, let me tell you when I started it. We'll refer to the handy dandy planner and tell you which date I started this. I started this on May 5th for Mania, and I finished it up on Saturday. So that would have been the 20th. Finished it up on the 20th, and here it is. Yay! Stitch or Die, all done. This is on a mystery piece of color and cotton. I think it's either 32 or 36 count. I stitched it with one strand of floss, and I got this in a grab bag, a color and cotton grab bag. So there we go. I did do, you can see I did do a little bit of color changing. Well, yeah, I did a little bit of color changing, not a lot. I turned the cat black, and I didn't, some of these flowers were supposed to be yellow, and I didn't put those in. You can see the spools I satin stitched over, and then this little trail was supposed to be cross stitches, but I just, after I satin stitched it, just kind of back stitched the thread coming off. So there we go, Stitch or Die. This is a fun little stitch, and now I need to decide what I'm going to do with it. If I'm going to flat finish it and put it up on my magnet board that usually is right here when I'm in my craft room, or if I'm going to turn it into a pin cushion. I think it would be an absolutely adorable little pin cushion. I just don't know where I would put it. But so there it is. I'm so thrilled to have this done. So there we go, Stitch or Die by Heartstring Samplery, and I will show you what threads I used, because some of them were called for, some of them were not. I didn't even write on there. So let's see, instead of gold leaf, I used Classic Colorworks Honeycomb, and instead of wood rose, I used Color and Cotton Antique Rose. Maple syrup was called for and was used in like one little place. The maple syrup, you could totally use DMC. You know, it was this hoop, and I don't even think the spools were supposed to be that color. I think they were supposed to be this color, but I had it on my needle. Instead of Brethren Blue, I used Weeks Dye Works Deep Sea. Maybe I didn't use any called for other than the maple syrup. What the heck? Instead of Old Red Paint, I used Antique Rose by Gentle Art. Instead of Endive, I used Weeks Dye Works Kudzu. And the baked clay was called, nope. Instead of apple cider, I used baked clay. And I didn't necessarily put it in the same spots. I mean, I mostly did, but I just kind of picked, like, this is the Antique Rose, both the heart and over here. This is the baked clay. So those were the colors I used. I just picked what I had from Stash that I liked and put it where I liked and made it match. I mean, I think it's a pretty good representation of what Beth charted. So there we go. Stitch or Die, finish. Ding, ding. Where's my bell? So that is Stitch or Die, all finished. And now I can put everything away. Put those threads back in Stash. And I am getting to be in desperate need of like an FFO weekend. Maybe this weekend. We'll see. I kind of need to be in a mood to do it. Do you guys feel like that? Like you just need to get in a mood to do it? And now sometimes when the mood strikes me, my craft room is not available, is being occupied, which is fine. No big deal. But then sometimes when it's empty, I'm not in the mood. Like I could have totally gone up and done a bunch of finishing last Saturday. I just wasn't feeling it. Am I the only one that needs to get into the mood to do it? Okay, that's it. That's everything I worked on, guys. And I finished. Hopefully I'll finish Welcome, I should, this coming week. And then I'll move on to Love My Stitching. So I am excited to keep plugging away on some finishes and plans. Let's talk plans, because this week is like the week of the month that I have a lot of projects. I should have brought them over with me. I didn't. But I have a lot of projects that are assigned a day during this week. I was able to put some of them in to challenges for this week. So Tuesday the 23rd, that's tomorrow, I'll be working on Letters from Mom. And then Wednesday is the 24th, and on the 24th I work on Duke Clover, and I was able to work that into a task. Thursday is Mary 25. I think I'm going to work on chalkboard ornaments, but I haven't totally decided yet, but I think I probably will pull that out because that's been called on my WIP Go board, so it'd be nice to like fill in that square. And then Friday is Knee High's birthday. So I started it on the 26th of June last year. So I will work on Knee High on Friday, and I worked that into a task. So I'm going to keep working on Meow Block. Did I get that into a task? I did. So I'm going to keep working on Meow Block for Alphabet Soup, work on Welcome, get some more hours in on Harry Potter. It's going to be another busy, busy stitching week. Hopefully I get lots of time in for some stitching. So, and hopefully you guys do too. So let's do giveaway, and then we'll do stash acquisition, because I know not everybody loves to see stash and haul. So, and I'm feeling like I want to just do the giveaway a little early. So last week I was giving away this cutie little free pattern by Bendy Stitches, which seems totally apropos because I worked on several Bendy Stitches patterns. So I had said if you were interested in, I'm pulling up the picture of the winner. If you were interested in this pattern, to just tell me that you wanted to stitch the turtle. And the winner is Nancy Barris. Is that how you pronounce your name? Nancy Barris. You won the little turtle pattern. So Nancy, just shoot me an email or message me on Instagram with your address, and I will get that in the mail to you. And then for this week's giveaway, it's summer, and like we're finally getting like nice sunny warm weather here, and it was making me feel really summery. So I was kind of going through my buckets of stuff to see what would jump out as summery to me, and this little guy jumped out. This little needle book kit with the sunflowers and the butterfly, and it's a full kit. It's everything you need, the Aida, the threads, the finishing stuff, even the little butterfly charm to make that sweet sunflower needle book. So if you would like this little needle book, sunflower needle book kit, just let me know in the comments that you would like to stitch the sunflowers. Sunflowers, there's 2 of them. So let me know you want to stitch the sunflowers, and I'll pick a winner next week for the little sweet little needle book kit. Yeah, yay. Love giveaways. They're always so fun. So I got some more stuff in the mail. I know you guys are shocked. See what I bought. What I bought that came in this week. The first thing that I got was an order from Homespun Sampler. Not that I care if you guys have my address, honestly. You can just ask me for it. I was looking on Etsy for some trim to make Becca's little It's Nap Time pillow. And she said she wanted some blue trim, and so I was looking and I found this Lady Dot Creates Union Blue. I think it'll be the perfect blue to go on that pillow. See, I really need an FFO weekend, right? Because I need to get that done. So I found this on the Homespun Sampler Etsy shop. I'll link them below. Well, this can't come by itself. Like, that's crazy. I assume it's a she that has the shop, sent a sweet little, what did it say? Oh yeah, Linda sent a little complimentary chart. I won't show the chart, but she sent a little complimentary chart, which was really sweet. And I was like, well, let's just check out what patterns. And I went perusing her available prairie schoolers, and I picked up Home for Christmas because I love this. I have the Harvest, I think, can't remember what it's called, that has the big old turkey on it, and it has the cool village with the like hay wagon and stuff. And somebody had pointed out that this is the same village, and it says at Christmas the heart goes home, and I love that. So I picked this up because I'd like to stitch both of those at some point. Do you guys know, are there other seasons? Did Prairie Schooler do ones for spring and summer with that same village? If so, let me know, because if it's a complete set, I need the complete set. But either way, I thought it was really fun that they had the same village with a fall scene and a Christmas scene. And that's the one I would do on this one. So I picked up that. And then she also had full sets of these little mini cards. I love these. And so I picked up 2 sets of the little mini cards because I just think that these are really fun to stick in, like, just cards to friends, to stitchy friends. And so I picked up a few of them, and I might stitch 1 or 2 of these before I send them on. But these were ones that maybe I hadn't seen as much. Like, I like this little one. That one's cute. Look at that. But there's 9 in each set, and I thought that they were pretty well. Look how pretty this is. This reminds me a little bit of the Teresa Kogut Angels. But so there's one set, but they were really reasonably priced for these little sets. So I picked up 2 of them. I think she had like 4, maybe even 5 different sets. I really wanted to get them all, but I held myself back to 2. Let's see if I can get this other one out of the package. It's like poking a hole in the side. I can't remember. Oh, maybe it says. Does it say here? I don't see an invoice. I don't know what sets these were, but like, I love that. Look at that. Welcome. That's sweet. So cute. That's why I got this one. Stick it here. That's hysterical. Little porcupine. Look, another angel. It says peace. But yeah, there's some really good ones. Look at that one. That one's really pretty. So I just picked up a couple of these little sets to stick in cards to friends and stitch myself, and I don't know, they might end up as little giveaways too. So those are really fun. So I picked up some Prairie Schooler, really great service, fast shipping. I would totally recommend Homespun Sampler on Etsy, and she did have quite a bit of different trims and stuff too. So that was the first order that came in. Oh, also came in the mail. It's the summer issue of Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher. And I'm not going to flip through this. Let me know if you would like to see. I could record a little special, like a Flosstube extra, flipping through this, because this is my first hard copy. My middle daughter got this for me for my birthday. And this was the first one I got as hard copy. And there are some, I'm so happy with this subscription. I think it's a fantastic value. I mean, spoiler, hello, look at the Barbara Anna. How fantastic is that? But there's great, I mean, this is a well put together publication. I mean, I'm not a punch needler, but there's pretty even punch needle stuff to look at. But just for the cross stitch patterns and finishing tutorial, I love it. I was so excited to have this and flip through it. That was really fun. That was really fun in my mailbox. Now I can't wait for each one to come. I also got my fabric of the month from Brandy at Be Stitch Me. And she sent in the same package a couple weeks ago, I participated in the Friday night fight night on her Facebook group. I didn't pick up fabric, but she has started dyeing silk. And so I had to pick up. So these were the first, were these the first or second? I think this was the first silks that she put out. She had another color too, but this one is called Earth and this one is Autumn. Look how gorgeous that is. So they are 50-yard skeins, and I can't remember how much they were, but it felt like a really good deal to me. I want to say they were maybe $15 for 50 yards. So beautiful. I love that mint and gray, the autumn. So I didn't get any fabric that night, but I picked up these. So she sent those along with the neutral fabric of the month. So I think probably everybody's gotten theirs by now. Go, Crinkle. But in case you haven't, this is your warning that if you haven't gotten Brandy's fabric of the month yet, don't look. So I get the neutral. This is a 36 count, but I emailed her and I'm moving my fabric of the month with her to 32 because I also get 36 from Color and Cotton. But this one is called Boot Camp. And look how good that is. It's a greenish grayish. I think that's showing up pretty well. And it is really, it's a perfect neutral. Perfect neutral. Just fantastic. I love it. So that is the fabric of the month. And then the weekend that I participated in the Friday night fight night, she does giveaways on her group. And you're eligible if you made a purchase. And I won one of the giveaways. And wait till you guys see what I won that she sent along with everything. It's Huckleberry Farm. Can you believe it? I was talking about like the fabric that I have from Brandy that would be perfect on this. And that it'll probably be a Mania start. But I didn't even have the chart yet. Now I have the chart. I'm so excited. So this will probably, I mean, honestly, this probably will be a Mania start next year. Although Becca Sambry Stitches is stitching on this. And oh, it looks so good. It looks so good. She's up here on this little mountain scene and it's making me want to start it. Becca, you're making me want to start it. Go check out Becca Sambry Stitches. If you're not already watching her, you should totally be watching her and following her on Instagram. So Huckleberry Farm, thank you so much, Brandy. I love the fabrics. I love the silk. I love the chart. Very excited. And then the last thing I got in the mail was I needed some more DMC, which seems crazy because I just bought all that DMC. But I did need a little bit more DMC, and I decided to place that order with Fire Poppies. They have the full line of DMC. It's so easy to just search on their site by the number. She sells for 56 cents a skein, which is what the big box sell for. I mean, I know that you can get a coupon, but I love that I'm supporting a smaller shop. And her shipping, I ordered this Monday or Tuesday of last week, and from South Carolina, I had it 3 days later. 3 days later. So there's the DMC. Some of it is I needed to finish out the Mirabilias and kitting up a couple auction items and who knows what else. But there's some more DMC, very exciting. But the DMC, oh, there's another one, DMC. But you can't just order DMC, can you? No. So once again, I perused the charts to see what called out to me. And unfortunately, the mailman totally crunched this into my mailbox. I was not that happy about how badly he crunched that package, even though it was packaged so nicely. But so it's a little wrinkled, but I got Oh Joyous Day from Blackbird Designs. I just love this. I love the big pear. I love the huge, like, what is that? It looks like a partridge. And the big flowers. This is just pretty. Pretty. Actually, this would be gorgeous on that boot camp. I don't know. So I don't know when I'm going to stitch it. But I decided it had to go into the stash. So, Oh Joyous Day. So that's it for mail. So that's everything, guys. I kept it under an hour this week. Not by much, but a little bit. So I hope you guys are having a great week. Let me know if you want to see a flip through of the Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher magazine. It's fantastic, and I'll do a flip through of that if anybody's interested. And because I haven't seen anybody else film a flip through of it, and I think you can still get it at some needle workshops. So that's all I've got. I hope you guys are having a good week, that I know we're kind of late to the summer game. Like a lot of you guys back east and in the south are halfway through your summer break as we're just starting ours. But I hope you guys continue to stay safe and healthy, and I will see you back here next week. And hopefully maybe I'll see some of you on Thursday at our Stitchy meetup. And until then, cheers.